Hello, welcome back to Cosmic Millennial. I'm Caitlin, and today I'm giving just like very magenta, crown chakra, purple vibes, just all over. Calm. I'm doing this on December 1st of 2024, and we're just coming off of a holiday weekend, the enjoyment with family, or also the not really enjoying this with family, friends, whatever is going on within you. This purple vibe right now is just going to like dissolve all of that on your behalf because I'm bringing much more of the energy vibe into the room with us today. So, with my disclaimer, if you are driving or if you do find yourself around some heavy machinery, maybe you should pause this and come back to this when you really want to be with this energy transmission that is happening. My intention is for you to feel good, grounded, happy, just feeling like yourself. You know what I mean? And sometimes we move through some holiday reconnections or remembrances or reminders. And just to remind us that Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius. It is Sagittarius season. And right now, it is the Sagittarius new moon. So the moon is also in Sagittarius. Okay. We've got a lot of philosophy, fire, wisdom and knowledge available here. So we're going with it, right? This is also very new moon vibe, right? Whatever we have learned this weekend or this holiday season, right? Like what comes with you to that new year of 2025, which wow, can't even believe like we're on that trajectory. Like we're going, the year is ending. And also like, ah, yes, I do not want to bring this with me. And like, this is done. This is complete. This can, this can, this can die now. Like, not to be morbid, um, but to be direct. If situations need to be done, they need to be done, right? If the feeling of things that are not really tangible, like need to be closed up or like ending, sometimes it can be a really confusing conversation and people could feel like there's still, if you have felt ghosted or if you haven't gotten like your reasons or the confirmation of stuff, right? And there's an acceptance that you may never get it, right? So how can it be done, right? How can you just validate your own experience for what it is, or um, knowing that you did do the work, or whatever needs to be finished, finito, done, 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 done. We're moving on, right? We got this beautiful purple light here that changes from this like indigo kind of cooler. And then like sometimes it gets like, yeah, love that. So we're just here with that energy right now. Um, and we're going to be talking about December of 2024. And I personally am already thinking, wow, okay, so this is the end of the year, right? We know things are going to change. That is something we know to be true, no matter what, no matter who is president, no matter what happens, this is a year of change, right? Power changes, shifting. We talked, if we even talk about astrology, right? Oh, Pluto and Aquarius. Well, whatever, like, how does that really, involve me? Or like, why would I believe that to be like that's going to impact me or anything? Well, positions of power are changing and their decisions could impact you for the next 20 years. Like, that's for real, right? So as we like know the potentially like disastrous, like global situation that could happen, and also being like, okay, so what if that doesn't happen, right? And it's not disastrous. Things aren't as bad as I can prepare them to be, because I don't really know what's going to happen, right? All I got to do is take care of me. It's going to get there's going to be some tense moments in December, and I say that because Mars goes retrograde in Leo. So right now Mars is in Leo, and um also our next president, his Mars is in Leo, right? Mars in Leo, Mars just in general is like direction, God of war, right? What's the mission? If you sense it into energies, if it is more of a masculine energy or a form, a structure, right? A decision, an action, a movement, right? A follow through. Um, that's very Mars energy. That's how Mars talks to me. So as I've been in the Mars Leo for the past, I think it's been a little while, with Venus in Capricorn. So we got this conversation happening, right? Some land for the fire to stick to, basically, you know? And right now there's a lot of fire in the sky with the sun in Sagittarius. We have the moon in Sagittarius. We have Mercury retrograde, Sagittarius. So we have quite a bit of fire energy. And we have that Venus in Capricorn being able to be some sort of holder, grounding, container. Um, and we know things are shifting, right? So even right now, right now, where I am in the world, the ascendant is Gemini, right? So as I now know that, there's going to be more Gemini in the room with me. And you know what? That doesn't surprise me. So we're just going to go through December. And listen, I'm here with you in this like purple Reiki energy vibe, right? My spiritual team and I have been talking. Okay. We have been reviewing, we have been reflecting, we have been putting new new things into action, new plans into action. We have been expanding, we have been building, we have been efforting, putting in the work, putting each brick by brick, making the stairwell, right? So this this may so what this forecast feels like is the planets are not going to sugarcoat it for us. Okay. Oh God. Okay, so I'm ready. I'm also like, great. I'm going to be the channel to like talk to you about like what they're saying. And that's also another thing of like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? You hear the planets and they talk to you? It's like, yes. But that's actually something that my spiritual journey, especially starting out in Reiki in like 2015, I think it's been years of integrating. Once you open that connection, that crown chakra connection, right? And you either if you grew up in church and they tell you, "Oh, God is only in the church," right? And you're like, "What? I just saw that like gorgeous waterfall and like a totally different part of the world and like saw all of these like things just like of nature just be all around me and like that's not God or like that's not a creator, that's not a force of life that's talking to me. No way. I can't believe that to be true. I feel like I mean if we're going religious, let's not go into any waters I don't want to get caught up into. Just talking to my own. I gotta talk to the energy, right? When you also are someone who can be a channel, right? You gotta put your boundaries in. So this is like a masterclass session where I'm showing you exactly how it works and then how I talk to the energy and how I know. How do you know it's who and who's talking to me? Well, we'll find out, right? I'm gonna talk us through it, I guess. And that's another thing, just staying present, right? I'm not trying to form the story in my head of what the planets are going to tell me. I know the forecast, of course. I know like what goes into what in what day, but I did not form a story before looking at this and be like, okay, this is what's going to probably happen. No, I, I, I stay as present as possible while I'm also aware. I'm aware of all the possibilities. And also I surrender because I'm like, whatever happens, happens, right? I'm not in charge. I'm not in charge here. That is above my pay grade. No, no, no. I'm in charge of here, right? Me, my behaviors, my thoughts, my creations, my experiences, right? But if things happen, things happen. And sometimes it's important to surrender to that and to know this is a much bigger conversation. So when conversations become bigger, like globally, we start to feel a part of something. And that's when the collective consciousness starts to regain its awareness. Because I think technology has really been fracturing or splitting some of our beautiful minds, our consciousness, because it's a lot of information. It's a lot of it's a big learning curve, right? There's a lot of learning. There's a lot of feelings because there's trickery, right? There are people who are not being truthful, who are hiding, right? Using that kind of technology for all sorts of things, right? So there's like an awareness that we begin to learn. How can we be more aware, right? How can we ask those important questions and know, how do I know that that is that person, or how do I know that to be true, right? When we ask questions, we're reminding ourselves to give space between the question and the answer. Now, I'm not a professional at this. I'm just noticing when I give myself some space, I come up with a better answer. And sometimes you have a lot of space, right? Sometimes there's these big questions in life, right? Or like, what is my purpose, right? When people have those big questions, well, you have to make a lot of space, to allow that answer to come to you that feels like you feel the answer. It's not like someone, talking in your ear telling you, yep, yep, this is logical, unless maybe that is what happened to you. But you feel it in your sense of being. It's even more than your body. Like you feel it in your soul. And the soul part, from what I am learning from a lot of the teachers that I am currently studying with, because yes, I am a Reiki master teacher. Yes, I'm a certified coach. Yes, I was a professional actor and I always had teachers. As an actor, I made sure I found the best of the best teachers who's going to get me to go so deep and like hit that spot of raw emotion and give the performance like of my life, right? Also, spiritually speaking, yes, I'm going to be with teachers who have sat with their medicine for years, who have practiced and taught what they know to be true within their experience, and then how they articulate it to me. Some of it includes actually all sorts of teachings, right? And then as a teacher, what am I teaching you, right? Like, what is the material? What is the not even just what are the words, right? What is the feeling? What is the visceral feeling you experience when you learn something, when you resonate with something, when you sense into, yes, that's who I am, that's who I want to be, some sort of mission that comes up and almost bubbles up within your body that you just can't like put away. It's a bigger conversation than you, right? Because there's got to be a lot of space to move into all sorts of big things like purpose and sense of being and finding the self. But if you don't give a little bit of space now, no matter how old you are, if you are 21 or if you are 81 listening to this, we should all be getting to know ourselves more at a time like now, because I'm kind of jumping around here, but with this purpley beautiful crown chakra energy that we're in right now, it's full of energetic conversations that we will come back to this conversation later, like later in the year. Like this, this feeling, whatever is transmitting through this video, right? It wants to be here to be felt over and over again, to be reminded of something. And I do not know the future. So I don't know what it's going to be like this time next year. I don't know. I can be in my awareness and imagine, but I don't want to imagine something that's not quite true because it's still in an imaginary world. So, how can I bring that optimism and that imagination into reality that we're still here? Because Saturn is still in Pisces, and there's something about the Saturn and Pisces aspect in all of this conversation that we're still it's like we just got out of the pandemic and things maybe just started to feel normal, and then there's going to be a big shift again. So there's a feeling of whatever is here in the room with us that is truly encouraging us to be in this beautiful, vibrant purple energy in your wisdom, right? Remembering and knowing who you are and what matters to you, what is important. Let's go simple and deep. What are your core values? And that is why entrepreneurship is such a self like discovery path, because you have to ask these questions of your business. Like if you're asking your business, like, what are the core values? That's a reflection of you. Like, what do you value for real? Like, know yourself, know your soul, know your mind, your consciousness. How we doing? Because whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And if we stay here and give some space, and this space has healing energy in it, because that's how long distance Reiki works, right? So that's a whole nother episode that I can totally dive into, and I'll remind myself to do that. But right now, that's what this is. This is long distance Reiki energy healing. And it doesn't need to be through words that I am I am a saying the healing energy. Like no, I mean, I could talk about how purple this color is, and it like literally doesn't matter because the energy, the healing energy, I've already opened the door, right? And the longer you sit here with me and we're just in this healing energy together, things may come to you. You may feel different. You may feel a sense of yourself being closer. You may feel maybe if you are someone who also has spiritual gifts, just closer to those spiritual gifts, that quiet and that space and that stillness, that conversation within yourself. It's like those true deep knowing of ourselves, and we can never lose that, even when the everything's really loud and like there's a lot going on. Like there, like literally I am telling you that that voice, that thing in you will always be there, right? So maybe that's what we're doing right now. We are just being with that energy, and we are in new moon energy too with Sagittarius. So there's a reason why I'm talking the way I'm talking, right? And because Mercury is also retrograde in Sagittarius, why use words all the time? You can use symbols, you can use color, you can use art, you can use sound, you can use scribbles, you can use collages, you can use pictures. You can use all sorts of self creative expressions within yourself to discover what you value, what is important to you, and be honest with yourself. Because when we are honest with ourselves, we actually get to the point, and it's so much easier to work from there. I saw a great quote on Instagram and I put it on my story. And it was like, what was it? It was something about it's, and I don't want to mess it up because it actually is very well said. So let me see if it's still on my story because it was very well said. I was like, "Oh, I actually, it's going to take a second because now I have to look it up. See, we're just with the space. Ah, isn't this great just being with the quiet right now? Like literally, like it's just coming up. So, like, just being with that patience, like, what does that do to you? Like, for me, it's just like my nervous system goes, oh, I think I just like relaxed a little bit more. Huh. Hardest lesson I've learned so far, the longer you stay on the wrong train, the more expensive it is to get home. Wow. Ain't that the truth? So, with that said, let's talk December. So today's the first. So today we're in new moon energy, right? So this is kind of like the vibe, right? Because I'm planting that seed with you. Um, we get to be fully in this new moon vibe, like just the atmosphere, creating an experience. What does it feel like? Sagittarius is they can create an experience. You know what I'm saying? Like an experience. Yeah. That's what it feels like. So then the next important day. So today's the first, right? So by the time I post this, it's probably going to be the second, which is tomorrow, which is a trine. You know what I'm saying? So we got some trines happening as we also are going to have some tension show up. That comes to an opposition between Mercury in Sagittarius, that's retrograded, opposition Jupiter in Gemini. And Jupiter in Gemini, technically, it's like, okay, they call it a detriment, right? It just means it's not at home. It's the farthest away from where, like, Jupiter in Sagittarius, that's the vibe, right? That's at home. So the furthest away is Gemini. So Jupiter is in Gemini. That doesn't mean that the luck changes. That means there's that space again, right? So that space that I was talking about, that like, that's where you find so many treasures. Like there is no rush, right? Because there is space. So take the time, take the space. So actually, there's a lot going on the fourth. I forgot. Like as I look at my notes, I'm like, no, I'm like, take some space. There's a square. Also, the sun in Sagittarius squaring that Saturn in Pisces. Take some space, right? Take some space. Take a step back, right? What are you getting all sparked up about, right? Is it worth it? Take some space. Take some space. Then we got a sextile with that Venus and Capricorn, sextile that Neptune and Pisces. That's all on the fourth. And I really think it's just getting us ready for that Mars to officially go retrograde in Leo, which is the sixth. So it's gonna be like a bouncing back and forth energy the next few days until like on the sixth. Actually, again, the sixth is a big day because there's also three transits that happen that are kind of that are transits, you know, like, and sometimes you just feel the shift, right? Or we are learning how to feel the shift because once you're aware of the bigger conversation and you feel the shift, you get to use that. If you're like present in that very moment, you get to literally, that's the magic, right? You get to transmute that energy, or like, ah, I see the thought that I've been having that's been driving me crazy, and then you go, I transmute it. I change it. I acknowledge it. I recognize and I say, hey, that's not true. It could come from all the way back here, you know, and hey, that's not true. Let me transmute it into what I know to be true within myself. So, whatever that can be for you, that energy, our Venus energy also goes into Aquarius. Well, I think Leo's going to come in and say hi. So Venus is going to shift from Capricorn into Aquarius, as well as the next day, we have a little bit more of like Aquarius energy, just kind of like around. Again, purple, right? Aquarius energy, amethyst, sobering, like, and that can be in all sorts of way. What clarity is really coming through? Mars goes retrograde. Literally, what day is that? Is that a six? That's on a Friday. That Mars and Venus, right? Both of them go whoop, whoop, right? So just be aware of the shift. That's all. And then we have Neptune on the 7th, lucky number 7, going direct in Pisces. So that's been retrograding, and Neptune is like subconscious, right? It's like what are your the kind of that true purpose, or like desires, or any hidden meanings, right, in your life that you are aware of or you're not. Sometimes we're not even aware of our unconscious until it becomes conscious, right? Which is why we have to discover ourselves and ask questions. So then we move into a full moon in Gemini, which is on the 15th, which is also why I was like, Gemini energy, Gemini energy. He who shall not be named, but will be named Gemini energy, right? And we're in moon in Sagittarius. He also has a moon in Sagittarius, and his Mars is in Leo. I do not make any predictions, which is why I'm not saying any names, but if you know, you know. But I'm just saying something, something. I don't know. Decisions. I don't know if they, I don't know. That's something, right? Full moon in Gemini, December 15th. And then Mercury goes direct in Sagittarius that same day, December 15th, which is a Sunday. Okay. Okay. So I don't know what's going to happen, but then that's halfway through the month. And then it's like, okay, we're now on our way completing the year. So at that time, maybe that's why we're like, give yourself some space. You're not just finishing up the month of December, you're finishing up an entire year of 2024, a whole 12 months of a lot of different things that happened. Maybe you traveled this year, maybe you had different people come in and out of your life. Maybe you had um, sometimes it's just really helpful to go, all right, what's my year review? What's my year review? If I were to give myself a year review, how would I just maybe take some time in that full moon in Gemini and where Mercury goes direct in Sagittarius? Take some time. Because then we go into like winter solstice. And then it's like, okay, we are definitely in winter vibes. If you weren't feeling the like Christmassy, holiday vibes, all the things yet, it's definitely, we feel it there only because it's so present of like um end of year celebration time where we get some time off. Hopefully, those of us who get that time off, lots of gifts giving a lot of gifts, having more optimism in the world, really setting the tone for next year and saying, listen, if there are things that gotta go and like, whatever, whatever. But then the things that have been going well, we really recognize and acknowledge them, and we really nourish them. We nourish those aspects and parts of ourselves. And And then we finish off the year really strong. And again, I don't know the future, right? But what I would hope is that this is just helping us prepare for whatever energy is going to happen. We are feeling into this energy right now. We can replay this anytime we want and it will feel good to our souls. It's a deeper reminder. Deeper, like a deeper message is here for you to discover. With that said, so 21st, winter solstice, hello, sun enters Capricorn. So now we shift into Capricorn, right? And that's when it's like end of season, let's go, right? And then there are some things that happen. I felt like it wasn't too, there's a square, there's an opposition, there's another square, there's another square. So maybe there is some stuff. So that end, so I'm like, oh wait. So okay, let's set these. So when there's an opposition, it just means furthest apart from each other. And a square is just like, there's something that we need to look at right here because it's causing tension and it's not necessarily like there's there's a tension or frustration. Something needs to shift, right? And the evolution or where we are hoping we go in our minds and in our hearts, our bodies, our soul is hoping we choose the higher path, right? The evolution, the higher consciousness, or just humanity. There's a bigger there's more than just me, right? There's more of that. It's like I said, that Aquarius energy, right? Aquarians are the humanitarians. They are the future. They feel the age, right, of Aquarius. They are the water bearers. They're like, yo, I don't know how I can do this, but I can talk to planets. Animals come to me and animals tell me what's going on. I have that gift, Aquarius. I accept that gift, Aquarius, and I use it in a way that can help more than just me, Aquarius, right? So we have a few squares. So sense into that Aquarius energy, which doesn't always have to be the peacemaker, but is the one who's negotiating for like, okay, Capricorn, you're like getting a bit intense right now. Okay, Pisces, like I get it. Like this is a lot. Like, okay, Capricorn, like let's soften. Let's actually melt. Let's dissolve some of these things. Okay, Pisces, let's anchor. Let's ground. Let's strengthen, right? A lot of the middleman, okay? A lot of Aquarius is the middleman. Lots of conversations, telepathic, can just got the vibes, knows what's going on, but also doesn't need to tell you because they just accept what the truth could be. And, you know, that's why sometimes, like, either you know, moving on energy, right? It doesn't have to be cold. It doesn't have to be rude. It doesn't have to be rejection, right? None of that because winter does bring some coldness. So let's make sure that we are treating each other with some kindness, right? Ourselves with some kindness as well. Because that Chiron goes direct in Aries and I don't even remember when Chiron went retrograde. I feel personally like it's been forever. Wait, let me look this up. Hold on. Hold, please. Oh, look at this. Chiron and Aries 2018 to 2027. You are here for a reason. Hello. So, all that talk of purpose and what matters most to you, all that stuff. Chiron and Aries. Okay, so it's going direct in Aries. So let's see, it's been retrograded for how long now? I'm looking at a website. Hold, please. Hmm. So since July, no wonder I'm like, it's felt like forever. But that's its pattern, right? From 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. It all was between the retrograde from July to December. Next year, 2025, it's going to be July to January. In 2026, it's going to be retrograde, August to January, January 6th. Interesting. So this has been happening for a while. No wonder I'm like, it's been forever. And this is a bigger conversation than like, okay, so since 2018, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 6 years. That's that's a lot of growth, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? So maybe a little like 6 year review within yourself because remember when Mars and Gemini was like, what do you want? What's your 2 year plan? Like, no wonder no wonder the each forecast has been so different, the flavors and the tone. Sometimes it's quiet and central, and like the beginning, it was like loud and like partying, right? It was also the time of summer and whatnot. So we're also going to be here with that energy right now, going, oh, interesting. So there's going to be something similar that happens next year from July to January when Chiron goes retrograde in Aries. Hmm. So it's about to go direct. So when it goes direct on, did I say the 29th? The 29th, boom, we're going into the new year, baby. Like, whoa, 2025. Then it's like new year. I mean, new year. I mean, there is a new moon in Capricorn, December 30th. So if you felt like the past 6 months went by so quick, you're not alone. And now I'm like, oh, Chiron retrograde in Aries, you got my attention. You've been talking like the under this underneath layer like the whole time, right? So time all of a sudden went really fast and sometimes it would get really deep about those conversations about like who are you, like your purpose. And if you feel like time is going really fast, sometimes when we feel like we're in our purpose or we don't feel like we're where we want to be and then the years just keep going and going, then you're like, oh my God, like how did I just what? Just 2020 was how many years ago? But like, huh? Whoa. I haven't seen you in how long? Huh? Whoa. So there has been a lot of like distance. Again, we come back to that conversation of this space, a lot of space. So when space is necessary and then when it's time to come back together. So when that Chiron goes direct in Aries and like, then it happens, right? We have the new year. We're switching presidents. We are finding out what happens, right? And we are keeping clear. We are doing our best to stay present and have some space between our reactions, right? Because with any shift in power, with any shift in anything, you just got to go to your anchors. You got to go to your grounding, your, meditation, your journaling, whatever is keeping you. And like that's what people mean by grounding. It's not like, oh, I journal because I really think highly of myself. It's like, no, I'm tracking each day so I don't lose track. I don't lose control. I don't lose track of my time. And then time just goes by and you're like, what the heck? How is it already spring? Like, where did winter go? Right. So, and during shifts and lots of things changing, sometimes there are hidden agendas that people are hoping will just slide. Oh, it's a busy time. So why don't we blip, 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 blip. So stay aware. We're in this like beautiful amethyst, purple, long distance Reiki energy for the forecast of December. And like we just like kind of went with it. So thank you so much for going with this adventure and experience here with me today. I can feel a lot of dream energy. So, for those of you who are here with me, if you've never done like a energy healing before or have worked with the healer, drink a lot of water. And if you have a really like vivid dream or you feel different in the morning, like acknowledge that with yourself, right? Sometimes when I work with people afterwards, they have a dream and they're like, whoa, like that was incredible and this happened and whatever. Like when I would do Reiki, like one-on-one sessions with people, they'd be on some like psychedelic journey that I'm like, I don't know how it works out that way. I'm just grateful it does, that I am a little psychedelic Reiki healer and it works. So you may feel maybe some of that energy tonight. So go to bed or start your day, maybe journal. There could be more of this like life force energy available and see how this month goes for you. What have you learned about yourself? Past 6 years, how much have you grown? Also, look at this past year, like of all the things that have happened and, what went well? What do we want to change? Like, where can we go from here? Sometimes it is really helpful to get any sort of like clarity and you feel like, wow, like those reviews and all that stuff seem like a lot for me to just do by myself. That's when you can call on a coach of like, all right, this is what I want to go to my next life, my next chapter, my next book, my next album, my next everything, right? Painting. I'm trying to think of like all the things that my clients and also that like I was like, what else? What else? We got writers, we got painters, we got well, authors, we got um musicians, we got actors, we got spiritual counselors, we got uh, uh teachers, we got like look at all this energy here together, right? And and we have the internet. So there's a lot of good that can come from all of this. So, thanks for being here with me today. And I will see you in 2025, which is, it's been actually, if I give myself a moment of like, all right, we've been together for what, 6 months now? We started this in, we had the June, July, June, July, June. Wait, when did we start this podcast? I told you some Gemini was going to be here with me. June, July, June. I love my Gemini, my ascendant Gemini. That is truly just like who I am. Um, July. That's right. Be flying July. Okay. So we've been here together having this conversation for a few months now. So thank you so much for being here with me and seeing what energy is being offered to you. And each month we're just going to move through this together, documenting what's happening and what planets want to come through and just give us a little heads up, you know? So as long as you listen to this, you get the same heads up that I get. And listen, it's it's sometimes it's like, thank God I got that heads up. Thank you. So everything here is in integrity and is really cared about and nourished. So thank you for being here and trusting me to be one of those people that you check in with of, hmm, what does this person with these gifts have to say about forecasts? Because you could go to all sorts of other people for all this information, but you came here. So thank you. I'm so excited to continue this journey with you into 2025 and beyond. And we got this, right? So just ask yourself some questions and don't be afraid of your own answers. Don't be afraid of your own answers because that is your truth and your truth is connected to your purpose. And we ain't rejecting ourselves or saying, "Wait, no, we have to do it." No. Ask yourself the questions and receive the answers that you've been waiting for. Now is a time to be who you are and share your love, your art, your gifts, your businesses, whatever it is out into the world with love and with community. There's so many of us. There's so many of us right now. How awesome is that to be here at this time? So with that, that was very, that was my Aquarius coming in saying hello. So with that, we're going to say thank you to all these planets. We got a lot of that Sagittarius energy that's like, listen, I don't know, when I'm going to watch this back, I'm going to learn, right? Because thank you, just like helping me stay with what was coming through as present as possible. And yeah, and there's no bias on it. I do my very best to have space between me and the message. And that is taken practice. So I will teach you more and more as I am building more and more of these membership tiers. So stay tuned. Keep checking my link tree for any new YouTubes and check out my Substack for any articles that I may write. And I will have a way for you to be here with me more one-on-one when it comes to an online community. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to do more courses and workshops available for the public. Right now, I'm just teaching privately. So I really want to now like extend my private practice to the public. And I am also ready for that. So thank you for being here and cheering me on doing this as well as I am cheering for you. With that, I really am saying goodbye now. So I'll see you in 2025. Oh my gosh. Okay. Happy New Year.